Hello, everybody, and welcome to Whispers Radio here on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog, and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. It is 6:07 p.m., a nice, beautiful, amazing day here in downtown Wheeling. Hopefully it stays that way the rest of the week. I'm loving it. I'm Jordan Klein. He's Nick Queen, and she is the lovely Lola Miller, babysitting us again. We're back in the studio today. Awesome things. Give us a call, 304-214-1600. If you're out of the area, 1-866-514-1600. That's toll free. We'd love to hear from you. How you doing, Lo?
Good, Jordan. Upset with you, Jordan, but
What?
You know.
What did
I'm concerned. For those of you that are listening on the internet, we only live about 2.5 hours away from the mine disaster that happened yesterday. My dear Jordan wants to go work underground, and I just have got some real concerns about it. That's all. You were the first person I thought of, besides my one cousin that does work underground, and I'm just
Yeah, I got a lovely message from my mother who lives in South Carolina. Don't you even think about it! You know, I'm sure she didn't sound like that, but close enough. I mean, they make a good living. It's a good way to earn a living, and it's not up here in the valley.
And really, these things are rare. For the amount of people that are underground every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, these kind of events are very rare. But still, they're West Virginians, and it just, hits too close to home, and I don't know.
Yeah, I got a buddy. He works at Century. And I was like, you got any fears of going in, tonight to work? And he's like, a little bit, but you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. I can imagine that, everybody's, kind of, because someone had called a couple weeks ago and offered to set up perhaps a tour for me. To actually get. And I just think that's probably on hold now, because I think everybody will be a little bit more circumspect about who goes down. And I just wanted to see if I could do it. I don't even know that I can. I just thinking about it kind of gives me this.
Well, I mean, all of them are different. I mean, I think it was at Enloe, over in PA. They're like 9-foot high ceilings, down where my dad worked in southern West Virginia, it was only 27 inches high.
Oh my gosh.
He worked low. I couldn't do that. Most the Pittsburgh 8 seam, which is around here, a lot of spots it's around 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
So you're looking anywhere from like 4 foot to,
I don't know. It's tragic all the way around, and I don't want to get into the politics of the thing, but I think somebody should be drawn and quartered.
It's a shame.
Yes, it is.
Ventilation is a key, for the guys down there.
Well, here's something. Since you just got through with your safety classes, somebody pointed out today that it happened after a holiday weekend. And the same with Sago. It happened, I think they said January 2nd. I don't remember. But so the mine had been shut down for a few days. Would that give time for something particular that's not ventilated as well as it should be to have built up a methane?
Now, if they turn their fans off for the weekend, if they didn't have the ventilation going throughout the holiday weekend, then yeah, it could have built up. They'd have to put the fans back on and make sure it was ventilated before they went back in. There's checks that have to be done. Every 20 minutes, every 2 hours, before and after each shift. So, whatever happened, somebody just wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. And it's a shame that, one person, we're too worried about production, I guess.
Yeah.
Cost the lives of how many people.
The almighty dollar.
But, I mean, you're down there to do a job. You're down there to do what you have to do. On that aspect, if you got a good run going, keep on doing it, but somebody should be checking. That's just.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's kind of common sense. I mean, anything could happen. I mean, everybody's messed up. Got into doing something and just didn't, skip the time or.
Well, and the
that
timing
happens for
was so unfortunate. Shift change, so you had double the amount of people in there.
Yeah.
Than you would have had it just been in the middle of a shift.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, you know my feelings on this now. So because I attacked you practically when I walked in the door. It was like,
Yeah, she was for my mom. If you're listening, don't worry, Lola got me here too. You know,
I just worry.
Lola was the surrogate mom doing it.
I'll bat him alongside the head. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's a shame. I know. I saw a buddy of mine was putting around Facebook. Tonight leave your porch light on, kind of as a remembrance and prayer. For the miners. So everybody in West Virginia, everybody out. Leave your porch light on. Kind of a vigil.
Yeah, for them to. Well, it's like leaving a candle lit in a window
Yeah.
so they can find their way home. But on the other hand, it is coal that runs our electricity or supplies our electricity. So perhaps we should just go dark for a day. Seriously, I don't know. It just, yeah. Well, I will leave my porch light. I'm glad you brought that up.
I did. That's my buddy Paco at the firehouse. I saw that before I left.
Obviously, I have not been on Facebook. So
Oh, you haven't been on Facebook? You haven't been blogging?
I haven't done anything.
Which I haven't done since Christmas, and I don't think Nick has even set up his page yet.
I've been really busy.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's his famous.
Whatever.
I've been really busy.
For those of you that have been living under a rock, we got June 30th is our Penn trip. We have that coming up, and we keep saying we're going to get that page set up. You can buy tickets. We're going to get that page set up, buy tickets. And you've noticed Nick's been really quiet,
yes,
for the last
but he's been really
few minutes.
busy.
Well, for the since we started the show, he hasn't been talking. And Lola, the reason why, he's setting up the page right now.
Oh, very good.
So that we can buy tickets.
All right.
I'll smack you. Well,
You got to catch him first.
I started these classes to get my certifications in computers, which, are a little safer, I guess, than Jordan's job. But it's something I've always, so I've been really busy trying to get between the two. Like I was telling you before, I left work, and for some reason traffic was really busy today. It was crazy. So by the time I got home, I took a quick shower. It was like 5:30, and I'm like, I really wanted to have time to do this. So.
Oh, I know.
We got in the car, and Nick looks at the clock. He's like, oh, no. It happens.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be late, too.
So
I got rehearsal right after this, so.
Yeah, Lola's going to be a play. What's the play? And when is it? Where is it?
The Matchmaker at Towngate. It's the first week it opens 16th, April 16th, which is a Friday night. So we have a performance Friday night and Saturday night at 8 o'clock, and then Sunday afternoon. And then the following week, we have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights at 8 o'clock at Towngate.
And what's your character?
I play cook.
Cook?
Cook.
Do you cook?
I stir a bowl a lot. That's about it.
And for our listeners that are in Ireland, Lola has to...
I'm trying to come up with an Irish accent, and I don't want to sound like the Lucky Charms leprechaun. So if anybody wants to call me and give me let me listen. That's what I need, is to be able to listen, and then I could pick it up. I've been watching some terrible, terrible movie that has Irish people in it.
Well, Leprechaun
American
4 back
people
in the hood,
trying to talk like Irish people is what it is. And what I should do is get the quiet man, because at least I can tolerate John Wayne all those hours. But
you're just gonna have to listen to the shows with Patrick Heron and Barry.
Barry, I do. I watch Barry every week. He just doesn't talk enough. I hope he's not listening.
We'll get him to call you and help you practice.
He's got a stalker or something.
He does.
Did not get to watch Destination Truth, my favorite show now.
Why?
Just between basketball and trying to keep caught up with the other things that I have to talk. Basketball. And then, guess what I missed last night?
Basketball.
Yeah.
No way.
I did. Got home, and because I had rehearsal, so I got home, and 24 was 2 hours long last night. So, of course, I got all wrapped up in Jack.
I just finished season 3, started season 4 last night.
You've got Comcast. It's on demand.
Is that
how you're watching
it's on Netflix. I've been watching on Netflix. And you don't know the shout of praise that came from my living room when Sherry got shot. Sherry Palmer. I was singing and dancing.
My wife didn't like her either.
I was jumping up and down. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, not that I would be glad that somebody would. She's so evil.
Oh, she is. And I'll tell you, Battlestar Galactica.
Love it.
Okay. Katie Sackhoff, or however you pronounce it, she's in this year's 24.
No way.
Evil.
No.
Real quick question.
No.
How many total spots are we doing for the hunt?
30. We're doing 30, but put 15 of them on there.
Well, I'm putting 15 on there. We already talked about this.
Okay.
I just wanted to know a total. Good for it.
You see what I have?
Snippy.
You see what I have to deal with?
Snippy.
It's
snippy.
Sip it. You want to get Margaret ready for us?
Yes, I will.
Also, later on in the show, many of you know the Westboro Baptist Church is coming to the Friendly City to spread around some hatred and
not so friendly.
doing some not so friendly protesting in their not so friendly ways. I know students from West Liberty and Wheeling Jesuit being one of the places that are going to be protested. I know students from both colleges are going to be getting together for one big counter protest, and one of the students, Ashley Mullins, is going to be on later to try to get some volunteers and let you know what's going to be going on and the way that they're peacefully protesting.
Now, see, in my humble opinion, mine and Sherry's both, I think it's better to have a party and nobody show up. Let them come, let them stand, let them say whatever they want to say, and no one pay a lick of attention, because that's all they're doing. They're trying to get somebody mad enough to throw something or hit them or something like that so they can sue. If nobody pays any attention to them, otherwise, if they come here and you get that mob mentality going and something bad happens, we'll be a target then every single time they want publicity. Oh, yeah, we'll go to Wheeling. Those rednecks will take, you know.
Well, see, it depends on how it's handled. And I know it can turn that way. Like Nick was saying, it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't do anything and welcome them in,
well,
they can say, okay, that's going to be a yearly spot for us. You know,
by not showing up, I don't think, because somebody else made this comment, that by not doing anything, it's like we're condoning it. If we consciously and verbally say we are not doing anything, that is tantamount to a passive-aggressive approach, I think. And I just don't believe in giving them any more. You know, have your news crew out there. Don't interview them.
Well, I know one way, and I was talking to Ashley about this yesterday. One way they're doing it is raising money, doing a fundraiser and donating it to the Wheeling Charleston Catholic Diocese in the name of the Westboro Baptist Church. Okay. Lola's gonna get off the phone or get done getting our guests, and then.
All right. Well, I'm checking right now. Give me a second here.
Is it working?
I'm looking.
Is it up?
I'm checking.
Do we have it? Nick?
The connection's kind of. So give me a second.
But you know,
it is up.
It is up. Okay, get out there and buy your tickets for the Pen. That is June 30th. It's gonna be midnight. It's gonna be great, and don't forget, right before that. We have Dwayne Claude, the demonologist from New York, coming out to give a presentation. And why have I forgotten his name? Herb Street. I'm pretty sure he's going to be coming. And I put on there that we'll have Dwayne Claude there. I'd still want to check with him with Herb Street to see exactly, does he want to do something before? At that point, we'll have to figure out, logistics. I know
I'm pretty sure he's going to show up and come.
I think with Herb is pretty much going to be taking people around and demonstrating his.
I think that is. But you never know. He might talk about it a little bit beforehand. Might be best to kind of let everybody give a heads up.
We're online, Lo.
It's online.
Oh, good. Well, good, Nick. I'm pleased.
What kind of a bum am I?
What a good Nicky.
I know that. We'll have to give him extra cookies tonight.
Did you want to share real quick what you were?
Well, I just by making it such a specific charity, and I honestly don't consider the church as a charity, that may limit donations.
Yeah.
If you're giving it to, say, the soup kitchen or the YMCA
Well,
or the YWCA.
I know she mentioned, having it as different places that they protest, one of them being, Wheeling, since that's what's being hit now. But I think that she was wanting to hit other places too. I mean, I don't know the specifics. That's why she's going to come on.
All righty. Well, here is our guest, Nick.
Okay. Don't laugh at me. Margaret McElroy is an internationally renowned clairvoyant and astrologer. She's going to be talking about 2012 and dispelling all the myths and rumors surrounding it. Margaret, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Margaret. We've had a lot of guests that are saying 2012 is going to happen, 2012 is going to do this, and 2012 is going to do that, and then 2012 is not what you think, but this is going to happen. And you say you're dispelling all the myths. What's going on?
Nothing's going on.
Nothing's going to happen.
The biggest thing of all is that there's all this fear about 2012 and what's going to happen, and the changes that are coming. To be perfectly honest, I mean, I'm sure we all remember 1999 in the millennium.
Oh yeah.
And Y2K.
Oh.
Remember Y2K?
Yeah, I still have an old VCR in my bedroom that's got a big sticker on it that says Y2K compliant.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody was sort of going to store water, and I have friends that actually bought a year's worth of food,
wow.
because they truly, they were very New Age people, and they truly believed. I had another friend in Taos, New Mexico, who built a bunker.
Oh, wow.
I mean, come on. We're now heading towards 2012. It's a very exciting time, actually, because we're changing very slowly. And I don't know whether you know about a subject called the photon energy. No. Okay. Well, I've written a book about it, actually, and it's scientifically proved. The scientists they know what it is. They just don't know what to call it, and so they have called it the dark energy, because to the scientists, dark energy means anything that they don't understand.
Yeah.
And they don't understand what this energy is, but it's actually speeding up time. It's speeding up the universe.
So dark energy speeds up the universe?
Yeah, well, that's what the scientists call the energy. I call it the photon energy. And I've given a name to it. I've known about the photon energy since 1999, when I was taught. I know this sounds very silly, and everybody can laugh at me all they like, but I do have people that I communicate with from what is termed the world of spirit. And they told me about the energy all that time ago. And it's that energy that's been helping to change our perspective in a way, to change us. It's been coming in to the earth plane energy since 1980. And it's been responsible for a lot of the change that's taken place. If you remember way back, it was around about the 1980s, we started to have the Mind, Body, Spirit festivals. We started to have the alternative movement. We started.
I was very, very young in the 80s.
Well, the thing is that that's 30 years ago, but I mean it's been happening for the last 30 years, and it's leading up to this point of time in 2012 when I truly believe that's when we really start to become more aware of what we term the other side. There is another side of us. There is what many would term the spiritual part of us, but it's not got to do with religion or holiness or sitting going or becoming a vegetarian, giving away your wine or whatever it is that you enjoy. It's all about finding about who we are, what we want in our lives, making ourselves happier. And it's been coming on, as I said, for 30 years. And for me, the year 2012 is basically a time when we make a giant leap into the future and into a new beginning for ourselves. Many people have said the Mayan calendar says that's the end of the world. Well, it is the end of the world as we know it, but it's also the beginning of a new world as we start to unfold and become more aware of ourselves on that spiritual level.
Okay, so do you think that, was it December 21st? Is that the day that the Mayan calendar ends? 2012?
I have never really bothered about it because I've never given any energy to the fact of the ending of the world.
Okay. Well, this, I'm just wording it wrong. Like, do you think that, late in the year of 2012, that, there's going to be a day when we just wake up and everything will be different?
No.
Okay.
I truly believe that it's been coming on very slowly, and it will continue becoming, it will continue in a slow way in changing.
So,
but, when you look at the last 30 years compared to from 1980, if you look at we've always had change. There's been change throughout, the whole history of the earth plane.
Uh-huh.
But the part of us that is what we term spiritual, there is a part of us that has a soul, and it's that part of us that we have to find alignment with, and we have to find peace with. And as I said, it's got nothing to do with being a vegetarian. It's got nothing to do with being, going without, sitting in a position on the floor and going just got to do with finding out who we really are. And a lot of people especially in the last 10 years, have become very, very unsatisfied with their lives and very, very fed up with the way that their lives have become. And to me, the year 2012 is a time when we're going to start really looking at ourselves. But that doesn't mean to say that we're all going to change. It's a time when time will change, and we are going to find ourselves in a better place. That's how I feel.
All right. Somebody called the other day when I was talking about that we were going to have you on, and they were talking about 2012, and I think the date supposedly is like the 21st or the 22nd of December. And the question was, now, do I buy Christmas presents or because if I don't buy them and the world doesn't end, I'm going to be a real schmuck. But if I buy them, I could end up being out all that money.
Well, if the world's going to end, you're dead anyway.
I just thought that was kind of funny that,
I think it's funny too because it's a question that most people would ask.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, it is. It's the kind of, like, well, what do I do?
Well, see, this is what I thought. I told my parents that we were just having Christmas early because I want presents. Yeah, if I'm going down with more stuff.
Well, somebody said to me the other day that, we're having all these earthquakes and we're having all these things happen, but we've always had them happen. In the last 10 years, there's been typhoons and earthquakes and cyclones and you name it. They're always there. It's a part of nature. But, we as people, I truly believe if we can't find some peace within ourselves, in other words, if we can't get past the fighting and the arguing and especially within our own families as well. I truly believe that, we can annihilate ourselves. I really do feel that. But I feel that more and more people are going to become aware of the fact that I don't want this anymore. I don't want to worry anymore. I don't want to fight anymore. I want to find out who I am. I want to be happy. And, it sounds very silly, but every one of us, it can be happy and is entitled to be happy, but we don't realize that we can. And also, I want to say this, that a lot of people have misconceptions about the world of spirit.
Yes.
It's not an airy-fairy place. They don't all walk around wearing white robes and sandals and look like Jesus. I'm sorry, I once asked my teacher in spirit what it was like in their world. What was it like over there? And he said to me, it's like a giant corporation without ego.
Wow.
Huh.
And I couldn't believe it. I said to him, what? I said, he said, because there is no ego in our world. Ego belongs to the human race. It does not belong in our world. And so in our world, we all work together, understanding each other and understanding, each other's personalities. And I thought, oh, my God. But as he said, we can never have peace on the earth plane until we can heal ourselves and have peace within ourselves. And to me, 2012 is where it all starts to happen. We become more focused after 2012 on that part of us rather than, on the material things around us. And I think what's been happening in the present last few years, unemployment, the recession, and all the things like that have made people realize, hey, we need to change.
Well, I think in the last year and a half since the economy tanked, while families may not have the disposable income they had, I think they're finding a new connection.
Yeah.
But because they were forced to do it, and it's too bad that it takes something like that.
Yeah.
But it has seemed to be the way, especially around here, where community is always very important. Anyway.
We're becoming more of a family.
Yeah.
We're becoming, and we are now learning to cook ourselves.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I'm Australian, and I couldn't believe when I came to America for the first time how many people had breakfast out. Went out for breakfast. I mean, in Australia, it's unheard of unless you're on the road.
Really?
Unless you're traveling or you're on business. And it was like, my God, and the number of meals that people had out. Nobody seemed to cook.
No, I know.
You bought it at the supermarket ready-made,
Yep.
And now I have friends who are making, I've discovered this recipe for this beautiful chicken soup, and they're doing things that they didn't do before because they didn't have to do it because they had as you call it, the disposable income.
Well, do you think too, indigo children, that's kind of a new phenomena, and
they are, and I have 6 grandchildren. Mm-hmm. One of them is an adopted grandchild, and that's why I hesitated because I sometimes forget to put him in. But I have, and when I say adopted, he's not one of my grandchildren. He belongs to my assistant in Australia, my assistant's son, and so he's not family. But I have these 6 grandchildren, and every one of them is what you would term new age. Yeah. Every one of them. I mean, my 11-year-old knows more about crystals than I do. and my 4-year-old now, she's just turned 4, is so psychic. She talks to animals that are not there.
Wow.
My grandson is the most amazing healer. He has the most amazing healing hands. And he himself has cerebral palsy.
Wow.
And so, and my other 2 grandchildren are also very intuitive and aware. The children that are coming through today are so in touch with nature, are so in touch with spirit, are so in touch with the metaphysical world. It's wonderful. It really is wonderful because their generation, when they grow up, are going to teach their generation.
Right. No. Well, and I think too they've gotten back in touch with their humanity. How many kids do you see these days that will just take on some charitable mission, and you wonder where it came from because they all come from a lot of them come from upper middle class families that, 30 years ago, that idea would never cross a kid's mind, and now you have children that are raising money for wells in Africa. And
one kid sent, I was just reading last week, one kid sent he's lost half his leg, and he sent the artificial legs he doesn't use anymore, he's sending to Haiti.
Wow.
To the kids in Haiti. who are, gone through the earthquake. I mean, these children are doing the most amazing things.
Wow.
They really are doing the most amazing things.
As long as we allow them to do it.
Yes.
And that scares me because I'm afraid that parents may not notice that their kids are like that, and then not want perhaps the notoriety of having a child that is head and shoulders above and different than the other kids.
Well, one of the things that I'm noticing more than anything is that in years gone by, if a mother or father didn't care about their child, the child went down the tubes.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, the kids are saying, I shouldn't swear, and I'm not going to swear, but they say, bleep you.
Yeah.
I'm going to make something of myself whether you like me or not.
Yeah.
And so more children are becoming aware of the fact that I don't need my mother and father to do anything for me. I can do it on my own.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are doing it, and they are showing that they can do it.
So what do you think?
It's a different generation, and with this generation, because these are the children in the last 30 years that have been born, in the last 30 years since the photon energy came in. And the interesting thing about the photon energy, have you found? Because I have had so many thousands and thousands of emails from people when I put it on my video blog on my website to write me about, do you have enough hours in the day? Now, in the beginning, I thought it was me because I'm 60 and, I'm 60 odd, and I'm thinking, well, it's old age. My daughter, who's 38, at the time she was 35, she was saying to me, earlier than that, was saying to me, Mum, I just don't seem to have enough hours in the day. And then other people started to talk about the fact that they'd go out in the morning, they had 3 jobs to do. By the end of the day, they'd done one of them, and it was dinner time, and the day had gone.
Yeah.
And so energy is speeding up time. It's also creating a lot of health problems. For instance, one of the things that a new illness that's come on the line in the last 10, 20 years is fibromyalgia.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, fibromyalgia is an end result of the photon energy. Because what the photon energy is doing is it's bringing out into our bodies and bringing up to the surface all the stuff we've hidden down there. And I'm talking about on a metaphysical level from other incarnations. And so, the doctors couldn't find an answer for this because so many people have pain. So they have put a label to it. It's called fibromyalgia now.
Yeah.
But the thing is that really when you deal with that, and a lot of people are doing that, they're going to have past life therapy, and they're going to do, alternative healing work, and are finding that as soon as they do, their fibromyalgia goes.
So you're a believer in the reincarnation theory?
Yes, I am. It's not that I'm a believer. I'm a practicer because I have been a past life therapist for years and years and years. And part of my astrological work is actually on past lives. Mm-hmm. And so in my truth, and it's my truth only, I am a believer. Yes, I am. And it's more and more becoming prevalent, I feel, in society.
Well,
the acceptance of it.
There was a show that was on and got canceled almost immediately that I found so fascinating. It was Your Past Life, I think was the name of it.
Yeah.
And but I have often wondered that, and I had my chakras aligned about a year ago, and she said that as she was meditating, she saw me like in a 20s, 30s dress in a place that was decorated like that. And I have always felt that I was born in the wrong decade. I should have been born back then. And that got me thinking that perhaps I had been, and that this is just another progression. So I've been, trying to do some research on my own about past life regressions and seeing, how I don't even know how you go about tapping into something like that.
Well, actually, it's in the natal chart. It's in the natal birth chart. So if I ran a chart on you and then looked at that chart, I could tell you where you'd come from. And if you had any earthly problems, I could tell you where those problems came from as well.
Really?
And also, it would probably also trigger a massive healing crisis within you, because the soul memory, the energy I work with is known as, he's been given the name Maitreya. Now, many know Maitreya and say they've heard that he's the Antichrist. Well, in a way, he is the Antichrist because he's changing the concept of Christianity. He's changing the way that people think, and from the old way into, hey, you can be your own master. And hey, Jesus didn't die and was crucified, and he lived on and he traveled on after, he didn't die, and all this is a load of rubbish. And
so what makes you believe all this?
Well, I've been told by the teacher I work with from the other side. One of the things he told me in the early years was that Jesus was supposed to have said, "In my Father's house there are many mansions." Well, actually, he didn't say that. He said, "In my Father's house there are many dimensions." But nobody could understand the word dimension.
So you believe that,
and the teacher I work with from the other side has told me that a lot of what was written isn't true. And the more I came to study it, the more I came to realize that, hey, I think you're right.
So your view is that it just wasn't understood.
That's my truth. That is my truth. It's nobody else's truth except my truth. And that's of the people that are regular followers of the website. And when I say followers, they don't pay anything or give any money or have to do anything different or become it's not a cult or anything like that. It's just an energy that he writes, on a regular basis. He's been writing since 1996 and has a lot of wonderful words to say, really.
So what would Lola have to do to get a regression from your
teacher?
Yeah, your teacher.
All she has to do is email me privately.
Okay.
And I would love to do this for you, Lola. And I will do it, just for fun.
Okay.
Because I need your birth date.
Okay.
I need your time of birth, and I need your place of birth.
Oh, okay.
And then from that, I can we can arrange a time to talk to each other on the phone.
Okay.
Or via Skype, and then I can sit with you and talk to you about the whole gamut of everything.
Okay. Oh, all right. I will certainly get that off to you.
Because I can tell you where your hardest lessons are, how you've come to transform yourself, where you've been in past lifetimes, what you've come back to do again.
She's grinning like a little schoolgirl.
I've been so interested in this.
Well, I would love to do it for you. It's a passion for people say I work so hard, and I have to laugh because I don't think, and I say, I don't work hard. I do, but the thing is, yeah, I do. I can work till 11 o'clock at night, and I'm so happy. But it's a passion. It's something I really enjoy doing.
Yeah, that's not work. When you really enjoy doing something and that's your passion, it's not work.
I don't understand it when people say I work so hard, because I just do something I enjoy.
Yeah.
So I would love to do that for you, Lola, and then maybe you could share it with the people that you work with and give them your opinion.
I sure will.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna have to. We'll have an hour show on you, Lola. Maybe
that would be great.
Maybe the reveal. we'll do the reveal live. See how that goes.
Oh, great.
It is. This is another thing. More and more people. I'll tell you something. I started my career off in 1987 by opening a small business. And I opened a small New Age shop, and I did readings from there. This was in Australia.
Okay.
And I did not have one man come to me as a client for about 10 years.
Really?
How come?
And then all of a sudden, I started to get men interested, and I started classes, and I've been having classes for a while, but it was women.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I started to get, for some reason, men wanting to know about the alternative and the metaphysical. And as more and more men came, they told their friends and their mates, and and then men started to become interested in it. The man I married to, my husband, came to me in Australia and from America. He came all the way to Australia because I was doing a course that interested him, and he'd been studying metaphysics for about 5 or 6 years and wanted to know further. Huh. And so I started to get more and more until one day I had more men in a class than women.
Wow.
And so, it's been a journey over the last 30 years of people opening the door and finding. But the thing with metaphysics is a lot of rubbish has been written about it. People think that you just have to buy a crystal and you can be healed. It's a load of crap. You can't do that. You've got to work with somebody who is a healer. We, at the center here that we have in Redmond in Washington, we have the most amazing intuitive healer. She's very, very intuitive with her diagnostic information. She's been doing it for 20 years, and there's nothing she cannot tell you about your body.
Oh, wow.
And if you've got any health problems, she is amazing. I mean, that's the kind of thing that's going to be more so in the future. People are going to become more aware of alternative healing, despite the government trying to squash it and trying to say it doesn't exist and that kind of thing. It does exist. I've been living in England where I started off. You can actually go into hospital and have a spiritual healer visit you.
Oh, wow.
And they wear white cloaks and they have a little cross on their lapel. And if you're going into hospital for an operation or for any kind of service whatsoever, you can request to see a spiritual healer. It's part of the healing system.
And the insurance pays for it, right?
In Australia.
See, I don't understand this country. I don't know why we're so obsessed with.
Well, I do. I'll tell you why, Lola, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's money.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you got it there.
Yep. Yeah, you did.
It's money. It's the drug companies having a monopoly, and poo-pooing the vitamins and the minerals. And I take vitamins every day. I'm 63 years of age. I'm a very large woman, very, very large woman. But I'm as fit as a fiddle. I'm healthy. I'm well. I feel wonderful every day because I'm at peace within myself and I'm happy.
Yeah, that's the key.
That if we can be that within ourselves, we don't have any problems. We don't have them.
Now, where do you live now?
I live in Seattle.
In Seattle.
Yeah, I've been all over the world.
That's what you're talking about, England and Australia and New Mexico and.
Oh, I've been everywhere. I've been to Singapore. I've been to Malaysia. I've been to Japan.
Wow.
I've been to Canada. I've been to Europe, all over Europe.
Now, do you believe in astral projection?
Yes, I do actually, and that's my truth, because I can actually take myself anywhere I want to go by thought.
Is that how you do some of your traveling?
Yes. Well, no. No, I've traveled physically. I've traveled physically.
Well, I know a lot of people say they like to do their traveling, through astral projection.
Well, I astrally project only when I want to see clients and I need to assist them.
Now, how does that
I also travel physically. I've gone through about 3 passports.
Now, you see, astral projection is something we've never had a show on that, so we don't really know too much about it. You say you go to visit clients like that?
Yeah.
How does that work? Like, could you visit Lola and like?
Yeah, how does it work? Because I'd be afraid that something would happen to my body, and then where do you go?
Yeah, you see, immediately you say that.
I know. Okay, I'm wrong. Okay.
And as soon as you put the fear there, it stops you leaving.
Okay.
People people say they smell my perfume. That's how they know I'm there.
Oh.
I have a very unique perfume. You can only buy it online and in Australia. Oh. And and people say that they can smell me when I'm there.
Wow.
That's how they know I am. And I've had people tell me that I've been here in Australia. I've been here in America. Sorry, at 10 o'clock at night, and people have said they've smelt me, and I've been, awake at that time.
Yeah.
I've been at my home, watching TV or on my computer or something like that, and people have said, where were you at 10 o'clock last night, our time, this time? And I've said, oh, I was in the office doing a reading or doing something, and they go, well, you were in my house. I smelt your perfume.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, okay. But because I'm away with a fair. I don't drive, Lola, and the rest of you. I don't drive a car because I can't drive a car because I'm always away with the fairies.
Yeah.
I don't, honestly. I have to rely on staff to drive me anywhere, and my husband to drive me. And I wouldn't even dream. A part of me, the self part of me, says, I wish I could drive. The part of me that knows if I do, I'll go through red lights, and I'm not safe on the road.
It's refreshing to hear somebody say that.
I have no brain whatsoever, so I'm completely right brain.
Yeah.
And I just am away with the fairies a lot. And a lot of the time, people will say, you said this, and I'll say, did I? Because I don't even know I've said it. I'm completely, right-brained and away with the fairies. But astral travel is a very interesting phenomena. I don't know too much about it. I wish I could help you with that because I've never really explored it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something I can do in the future. But the way my life is going, my husband and I have just done some film work for a TV show in Los Angeles.
Oh wow!
And I can't say anything about it. I'm sorry. I've got signed a little sheet of paper to say I can't talk about it.
Yeah, we get that a lot. Nobody's ever allowed to talk.
I mean, hopefully it will change the concept of thinking of many people.
Oh wow!
And it will help people to understand, a different side of life that has been ridiculed and laughed at, but also misconstrued. To me, a lot of the books that have been written about spirit are a load of crap.
Okay.
And, we need to right that wrong. It's interesting because I was talking to a friend today who was telling me, I said to her, she's the intuitive, medical intuitive. And I said to her, oh, you should go and work I must recommend that you go to this bookshop. And she said, oh, I rang them up, but they're thinking of closing their doors. And I can't tell you how many New Age magazines have closed down around America and around the world. And, shops are closing right, left, and center because people have got fed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got fed up with, the New Age. It's no longer New Age. You can go to Barnes
It's just age.
And, Borders Books and Music and buy the books now.
Yeah.
And you can buy, most shops sell crystals and most gift shops and that kind of thing. It's no longer an exclusive to the metaphysical movement.
Wow.
And we are changing and hopefully we will become more educated in the metaphysical in the future with the 2012 phenomena, so to speak.
Yeah, Margaret, we do have to go. We're out of time.
Are we?
Yeah.
This is how it goes.
It flew.
I know.
I want to let you know we do have a link to your books on our website, whispers040610.mp3. If anybody out there is interested more in what you do and some of your works, I think because you have your own store for your books, right?
Well, we have our own website, and that's margaretmcelroy.com.
margaretmcelroy.com, and I know Nick has that linked up, right?
Oh, there you go,
Nick.
They turned my mic off.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I've been here the whole time.
But
yes, I do have it all linked up. Actually, I have your picture there. So if they want to go click on your picture, go straight to your online bookstore. And I think I have a link to your website there, too. If not, I'm adding that right
Margaret,
now.
don't hang up. I'm going to put you on hold so I can get your email address.
Okay.
Margaret, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for joining us.
We're going to have you back because you got so much more information on everything that we just can't touch on right now.
I have this all the time.
So you're going to be a frequent flyer to Whispers Radio.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay, hold on for Lola.
Thank you.
Bye, or Margaret. I almost said bye,
Trying
Lola.
to get rid of Lola. Bye, Lola.
Get out of here. So what do you think, Nick?
I'm always a skeptical person with the metaphysical stuff, just because I'm such a practical person.
Yeah.
You know me. I mean, even though you're like you used to be the skeptic and now I'm the skeptic, but it's just the way I am.
I don't know. I like to bounce back and forth on different topics. Like the astral projection thing. That's something we've never had a show on. And it's I don't know if it's because before we said, okay, this is something we're not going to have a show on, because I know just psychics, stuff like that. It's like, there's too many other psychic shows we're not going to have psychics on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to have a show on astral projection, because I'm interested, because I know I talked to somebody before, and they said he met this woman across country. They were both like astral projecting themselves, and they were like having sexual relations in this, and then all of a sudden they meet each other and like they know each other from these exploits, and it's like, how much of that do I believe?
Yeah, and like I know I think I could get my head more around. And it's something I've been wanting to get on, because the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats was about remote viewing.
Yeah.
Which is
I'd
a
like
little
to
bit
talk about
different,
that
where
too.
like I'm sitting here, but I can remote view, using, and it's not even like it's supposed to be even based around necessarily psychic powers, but you can be trained.
The Valley's Watchdog, AM 1600, WKKX Wheeling.
Are we there? Okay. I guess we do have to go for the news.
Yes. No, but I can get my head around that better than the other. We'll talk about it after the break.
You're listening to Whispers Radio on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog, and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. We'll be right back after CNN.
Now it's time for Whispers, your number one source for all things paranormal, with your hosts Jordan Klein and Nick Queen, and produced by the lovely Lola Miller. Whispers is brought to you by West Virginia Penitentiary Tours at the West Virginia State Penitentiary in Moundsville. Unforgettable, historical, educational.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Whispers Radio on AM 1600 WKKX, the Valley's Watchdog, and UPRN, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. It is 7:07 p.m. Beautiful day outside today here in downtown Wheeling. I'm Jordan Klein. He's Nick Queen, and she is the lovely Lola Miller. Nick, I know you want to say something about me here.
You got to unmute. You just he does that a lot.
Yeah, it happens.
Like hello, then he reaches over dramatically to hit the button at the last second.
It happens.
Hey, just so we were just talking with Margaret, and she was talking about earthquakes happen all the time and everything. But I can segue into that. There was just an earthquake in northern Sumatra, Indonesia.
Really?
A 7.8.
Just now?
Just now. Not. I got the news alert at 6:55, so we were going to break.
Wow, you hear that, Lo?
So.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
Another.
Earthquake. Wow.
I know they just one in Baja California was in the 7s. I can't remember what the one in Chile was.
7s.
It was in 7s.
And then Haiti was
in 7s.
Yeah.
That's some powerful earthquakes.
Throw your prayers out that way, because they're going to be needing it. Give us a call, 304-214-1600. If you're out of the area, toll free, 1-866-514-1600. Nikki, you want to introduce our guest?
I can do that. Sherry Brake runs Haunted Heartland Tours, and I think she's in West Virginia now. I got to change that. But Haunted Heartland Tours is a year-round haunted history and ghost tour company. Averages 100-plus events per year. She bases the tours on history and been voted into the nation's top 10 best ghost tours for 2007, 8, and 9. Not sure about 10 yet. We'll have to ask her. So, Sherry, you with us?
Yes, I am. Hey, guys. How you doing? Hi,
Hey.
Lola.
Hi, Sherry.
Happy Easter.
Thanks.
Belated.
Yeah, you never call me anymore. I'm your paranormal mother, remember?
Yeah, I know. She texted me on Easter. She's like, excuse you. She's like, you need to get in better contact with your paranormal mama.
You're in our thoughts a lot, though.
I know how busy you guys are, and I know Lola has a full-time job on her hands supervising you guys around the office there.
That poor girl.
I'm so glad somebody can really commiserate with me on this one.
I'll tell you. They've come a long way since wandering the shadowy halls of the penitentiary with me. I'm so proud of them.
Well, I can take that away. 1 second here. I'm looking through this, and I realized, man, the last time I talked to her, she moved to West Virginia. Why have I still got this in Ohio?
Oh, that's okay, because you know what? I still do an awful lot of events in Ohio. I still do a lot of ghost tours. We do a lot at the Mansfield Reformatory. We do a lot at some of the historical sites throughout the state of Ohio. So we do a lot up there. But we do have the official office in Summersville, West Virginia.
So moved south a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little warmer, right?
South Central. Yeah, I think it got up to like 90 today down here.
Wow.
90?
Wow.
We're in the 80s, so I like it up here better because I don't like the 90s.
Well,
I like the 60s.
Yeah, I'm thinking about moving to Canada.
Hotter the better. Hotter the better.
You crazy women.
I know.
Well, I do want to let you guys know that I have a new book that's going to be out in June.
All right.
Yeah, and it's on the Ohio State Reformatory.
No way.
Which is known as Mansfield Reformatory, which has been on Ghost Adventures, and Ghost Hunters has been there, and Paranormal State has filmed there. And
Wasn't Shawshank Redemption also filmed there?
Shawshank Redemption was there. When Harry and Walter go to New York, and Tango and Cash, I think it was. There was a bunch of episodes and films that were filmed there.
Wow.
Air Force One was another movie that filmed there. So, yeah, that's a cool place. And
now, do they get a lot of activity, ghost activity there?
They do.
More so than the Pen?
A lot of people consider it one of the most haunted locations. And you know what? You can have haunted activity, paranormal activity, any night of the year, and other nights it's just as quiet as anything. You just never know. I mean, it's a pot shop basically. You can be in the most haunted location in the world and have a, no pun intended, but have a dead night. You know, and nothing. You can walk into a private residence and completely have your socks blown off.
Yeah.
So you just never know. I've had some people that swear that Mansfield is the most haunted location that they've ever been to, flat out, and other people, it's nothing. So it just depends. It depends on the people you've got around you. It depends on your equipment. It depends on the atmosphere. Yeah. It depends on a lot of different factors.
I think for Nick and I, it's a little Victorian home that's used as a museum now. Nobody there. It's like, geez, It's
amazing, and that's what I like doing. With Haunted Heartland Tours, I get the chance to go out and find these little undiscovered gems, places that people really don't know about that have had activity for years, and start bringing people there so they can experience it. And I found a place in Fayette County here in West Virginia that is wonderful. It's an old coal company store.
Really?
And, it was part of the New River Coal Company. It is it's an amazing place. They had over 7,000 coal miners that they embalmed in the basement.
Wow.
They had a guy that was found dead. He was hung in the elevator shaft. He was playing a game of poker that night in the company store, and he was winning. And the next thing you know, he's hanging from a rope in the elevator shaft.
And he lost.
And he lost. He was murdered. There was a gentleman that came in, one of the coal miners came in and tried to pay. Back in the old days, you had scrip that the coal miners would pay with, and each company had their own type of scrip. And you would go to the company store and you would pay them with that scrip, and you would get your items, whether they were clothes or food or whatnot. That's how you paid for your items. And he came into this coal company store and used another coal company's scrip, and they shot him dead on the spot.
Oh, wow.
Or how dare he?
How dare he? As a matter of fact, there's still bullet holes in the windows from back during the mine wars between the Baldwin Felts detectives and the unions and the coal miners, and just all kinds of crazy stuff. So, of course, they've seen ghosts. They've had shadows that they have encountered. They've had items that have moved around and then reappeared suddenly, in places that people did not lay them down at. And a lot of neat history there. So we've got a ghost hunting class
scheduled on site there.
Really? Are you doing your advanced ghost hunting there?
No, this is just a basic ghost hunting 101 and a ghost hunt afterwards, and that was scheduled for May 17th, and it actually sold out in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
So I think I'm going to have a few more there. But, yeah, you just love getting into these places that are historical, a little bit of activity to them. It's a lot of fun.
Now, there's a lot of old ghost towns, these old mining towns that just kind of shut down. Everybody abandoned them, here in West Virginia.
Right. And we've been driving around to quite a few of those. My husband is a mining engineer, so he's he knows the history of the state and where the old coal mine towns were at. So it's a lot of fun to take off on the weekend and go around and see some of these areas where everybody's basically pulled up roots.
Oh, wow.
They've left the house and the coal tipple's still standing, and everybody just moved out of town, and it's an empty hollow. So it's a lot of fun, but it's sad because you see what West Virginia once was with all this coal producing, and now you've got all these little towns along the way that are.
Isn't it a shame? Isn't it a shame that over half of the country's electricity is created from mines here in West Virginia, and we're the poorest, one of the poorest states?
Yeah, but we've got so much to offer, so many resources.
It's beautiful here.
It is. It is absolutely beautiful.
Now, do you still do your ghost hunting 101 classes at the Pen?
Yes, I do.
And do you have any coming up soon that our friends can go to?
I do. I've got some. This month I've got an event, April 17th at the West Virginia Pen. It's a death by dessert and a ghost hunt.
Oh, that
sounds right up my alley.
Combines two of our favorite things.
Deliciously haunting.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because we're gonna dine on these to die for desserts by candlelight in the non-contact visitation room. How crazy is that? And then we're going to ghost hunt the building. So I've got probably 20 spots left on that. We're going to do a maximum of 40 people in the West Virginia Pen. So I've got that coming up April 17th.
How much?
That is $70 a person, but we're only doing 40 people. And we've got the entire 10-acre facility to ourselves. And you get the use of the ghost hunting equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we show you how to use it and give it to you for the night.
So you do a class along with the desserts?
It's just like a little mini class. The full-fledged Ghost Hunting 101, though, I do that at the Pen, and that's May 22nd. May 22nd is the Ghost Hunting 101 class, and that's from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. That's just what you guys took when you came.
Yes, ma'am.
A couple years ago and did that.
Way back when we were...
Way back when you were infants.
When we were little babies.
I just choked on that one, but that's okay.
Right.
We were big kids.
We were big babies.
Oh, yeah, but I've got the entire schedule up there at Haunted Heartland Tours. And the website is hauntedhistory.net. So anybody can check that out and see where I'm going to be. And we're going to be doing a lot in the state of West Virginia. I'm looking at Carnifax Ferry, if you guys are up on your Civil War history.
I have no clue what that is.
Oh!
I know that one, but I can't
Let
remember
me tell you what I'm not
exactly
up on, my Civil War history.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it is a Civil War battleground site that's here in Nicholas County. And Union forces clashed against the Confederate forces, and it was a Union victory.
Mm-hmm.
But there were casualties on both sides. And if you guys know anything about the paranormal, you know what that means. You've got an area where people battled for their lives, and a lot of that gets left behind on the atmosphere, all that energy. It's just like a little mini Gettysburg.
So are there witnesses of ghost battles going on?
Well, anytime that you've got people that are into the paranormal, they're going to go out to these sites and sit and wait. And I think they're so much more observant than anybody else. Because anybody else that hops out of a vehicle at a historical site, runs around, takes a few pictures, and they get back in their car and they leave. People that investigate the paranormal are quiet. They bring tape recorders. They bring their electronic equipment, and they sit and they have, a vigil. They'll sit there for hours with their tape recorder. So I think we have more of a chance of capturing something that's unknown or paranormal. So, as far as big reports of ghostly activity, there's been whisperings of it, but there hasn't been anything big or full-fledged. It's not like a Gettysburg or Antietam or something like that where you read about it everywhere, and they've got 20 ghost tour companies in town, doing ghost tours through the property.
It's kind of like a best kept secret kind of thing.
It is, and I'm going to be doing a lot down there, and I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about Carnifex Ferry in the future.
You get into a lot of the away from the ghosts themselves into the Civil War. You do reenactment and stuff,
yes,
right?
Yeah. Well, actually, I lived in Ohio for 45 years, and I was a Confederate reenactor in Ohio. How displaced is that?
Did you get in any problems or that?
Oh, if you only knew.
Well,
go back, Reb.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it. But I'm a firm believer in the fact that you need to really research the heck out of any location before you go in and have an investigation. You got to find out about the people, the events that took place there, what happened there even before the building was built. You just got to dig back, not just 50 years, but 100 years, 500 years.
Sherry, can I interrupt you just for a second?
Sure, you can.
And I know that just because this is going to make your day, one of our guys in the chat room says, "Whoa, there's a picture of the guest on Whisper's website. If I were a ghost, I'd let her hunt me."
Wow. Well, a little paranormal humor there. He gets an A+ for effort.
There you go. His name's Josh.
Aw, that's great. Well, that's very nice.
Now, have you been able to do much investigating at this place?
Which place?
The Civil War.
Carnifex Ferry.
A little bit here and there.
Have you gotten anything cool?
No, I haven't even gotten any EVPs yet. But I'll tell you what, it's one of those places that when you walk around, you can just feel. You can feel a presence, and I'm not psychic by any means, but you just feel like you're not alone. There are a couple unmarked graves that are there on the site, and there's also one grave that has a marker above it. But this is a place where people battled for what they believed was right. I mean, they had fear, they had anger, they had hope, they had desires, and they were cut short in their life. And any place that you have ground like that, that's sacred ground. And I think, places like Rich Mountain and Droop Mountain Battlefield here in West Virginia, there are places where people battled to the very last breath of their life, and they died there. And they have unfinished business. They do. I mean, who's to say that, these ghostly battles aren't going on in the life beyond what we know?
Yeah.
And I believe a lot of the hauntings and the activity stem from the fact that they've got an unfinished job. And they're there.
Now, I know we've talked before with Mark Nesbitt and discussing, because he's been to a bunch of the different battlefields.
Right.
He's mentioned Chancellorsville and I'm hoping Chancellorsville, but Fredericksburg, and I know for sure Fredericksburg and Gettysburg. But he's also been to some that had no activity. I think he mentioned Antietam or something.
Antietam.
And there's not really any reports. There's not really anything. I mean, it's one of the bloodiest. I think it was the bloodiest battle of the Civil War. I mean, what exactly distincts between, because he was thinking it was the geology of the site, perhaps.
I kind of beg to differ with that because I have been to Antietam and I have actually used dowsing rods and I have walked the Bloody Lane.
Now I might be getting the site wrong. Just so you know, I'm trying to remember, and it just kind of came to my mind. It might even be a site, maybe Vicksburg, which is I think that's in Mississippi, right?
So what did you get at Antietam?
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a path that you walk down at Antietam. And what a lot of people don't realize is that you're actually walking on top of bodies. It's a mass trench grave.
Really?
And everybody walks it because it's just a natural path line. And there were so many dead that they just dug a trench, rolled the bodies over it, and covered it back up. And as you walk and you carry your dowsing rods, I mean, they continually cross because you're walking over top of a body, over top of a body, over top of a body. And anytime you have unmarked graves like that, I think that there's a lot of unrest. I think people in life, they want to be acknowledged, and in death, they want to be acknowledged.
Wow.
And it's really hard to investigate a lot of these Civil War battlefields because, things can be quiet. You can be there for hours and not get a single EVP, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have some type of activity. Again, I think everything has to line up right. It has to be the right night, the right people involved, the right atmospheric conditions. It's not something that you can just click your finger and say, oh, yeah, something happened to me at this site. I believe it to be haunted. because the activity can come and it can go.
Now, have you ever been to places where you thought there's got to be something here, but there isn't anything?
I went to Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky, and I went there twice, fully expecting this big, bad, mammoth building. I mean, it was something like 400,000 square feet. Over 60,000 people died from tuberculosis on site there. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be, the best place I've ever been. Absolutely nothing happened on those first two visits. And I was so disappointed.
Are you sure I wasn't with you? Nothing ever happens when I'm there.
Well, nothing happened, and I was disappointed because here I had advertised this as an event, and it had sold out within 4 hours. This Waverly Hills trip that we had, leaving from Ohio and going to Louisville, Kentucky, spending the night. We rented out the entire building for 40 people on the bus. And I thought, oh, it's going to be, it's going to be such a letdown. I'm going to disappoint everybody because I had some hardcore investigators that came along on that. And it was one of the most active places I had ever been that night. We sat on the third floor and the fourth floor of that building and watched shadows dart back and forth down the hallway.
Really?
And I was just completely beside myself.
So it's definitely worth the money to go there?
Yeah, definitely so. And of course, Waverly is one of the more expensive places to investigate. It's $100 a person to go in there to spend the night. But I was pleasantly surprised on that third visit. You just never know. You just don't know. And the person that goes out and expects it to happen, it's not going to happen. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen.
Lola's, and I tease her, but she wants so much.
I know.
And she tries and is there anything that you can tell her at all? Now we're going, in case Jordan hasn't told you, because, and I can't say this because I didn't tell you either. But we're going back to the pen. I was going to say because he's a bad, paranormal.
I'm a bad son.
Yeah, but we're going to back to the pen for our second annual ghost hunt.
Are you?
I just put it on today for people to go and purchase the trip.
June 30th.
Cool.
June 30th.
June 30th.
It's a Wednesday. Are you free?
It's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
We were a little late getting to them.
You stole up all the days.
I'm sorry. I did, probably. It's so funny that you said that.
You want to trade a date? Or?
I might be free, guys. I don't have anything on my little paranormal calendar here.
If you're free, you have to come. We have Dwayne Claude coming from New York. He's a demonologist.
Yes.
And he's doing a whole presentation.
Oh, really?
On demonology before we go in. And a man named Herb Street, who has says he has a new way of investigating the paranormal, and he wants to come and demonstrate it.
And if you want to bring some of your books, you can put them out there and sell them.
Well, I'd love to come along and bring some stuff or give a little mini talk or whatever you need.
Take me with you. Take me with you.
My next book for next year is going to be on the West Virginia pen.
Is it?
Just to give you guys a heads up. Yeah, so I'm going to be thrilled to be working on that project. But wow, okay, June 30th, I put it on my calendar.
Put it on your calendar.
Check.
Come on out. And
I'll firm it up with you guys.
And I'm pretty sure, and I was sitting here trying to decide because I was putting this stuff on a day. When they say a Wednesday, and you probably know this a lot better than I would, that is like Wednesday, like into Thursday, correct?
Wednesday into Thursday?
Into it starts like you need to be there 11:30, but it's like 12. Okay.
Yeah. You're doing one of the basic night tours, so yeah, it would start at 11:30 and it would go until probably 6 a.m.
You're my double check because I put that online just.
Yeah, the pen is one of my favorite places to investigate, and I get people all the time that will email or call, and they're like, hey, what's your favorite place, or where can you recommend us going, or we're going on a family vacation, and we want to go do a ghost hunt, and I always say the West Virginia pen. It's in my top 3 places all the time.
Now, what are your top? What are the other 2 in your top 3?
Well, I have to tell you, Mansfield Reformatory is one of my favorite locations, but the pen in Mansfield has a soft spot in my heart. I just absolutely love that building, and I have such a connection to it, and I think it's extremely active. But I have to tell you, I do love Mansfield Reformatory, and I also love the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
We've actually talked to some people who went down there not long ago. They're actually from, we were talking to them about that. what can you tell me about that book? Because that's one of my places I've always wanted to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have to be honest with you. I've been there 3 times, and I have not had much happen to myself. But that is because I'm constantly scoping out these places as good tour places. So I'm business minded. When I go in there, I look up the layout of the building. I'm studying up on the history. I'm trying to figure out where we'll be able to set up our food at and our drinks. And, I'm analyzing their tour guides and figuring out where I'm going to park the bus and all that good stuff while I'm there. So I usually don't get much of a chance to have a lot of fun. I just know that place is active. I've talked to so many people that have been there. My aunt was a psychiatric nurse there back in the 1970s.
Really?
And I remember some of her stories. Any place that you have human beings locked up, whether it is a sanatorium, a sanitarium, an asylum, a prison, a reformatory, a jail, anything like that, you've got a lot of emotion that gets imprinted in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You have psychiatric lockdown cells where people were in there for 23 hours a day.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but you don't even have to have a death in that situation to have an imprint of the emotion.
No, you don't have to. I mean, you have to look at some of these terrible surgeries, these experimental surgeries that were done on site. Back in the 1950s, there was a gentleman, a doctor by the name of Walter Freeman, that traveled around the United States doing 10-minute lobotomies.
Oh.
Wow.
And he did, in July of 1954, I believe it was, he spent a week in West Virginia and did 224 lobotomies in 1 week. And went around and it's a transorbital lobotomy, and it was like an ice pick that they put up through your tear duct.
And they separate the prefrontal lobe, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it'd take 10 minutes. Not general anesthetic, but local anesthetic right there, and you would be done, and you would lose your personality. You would have no aggression, and you were basically a vegetable after that happened.
See, it's like Nick, only like with the aggression.
Oh. Boys.
Now, Josh has a question. He wants to know if you've ever experienced a malicious spirit, or have you or anyone you've worked with had anything go home with you?
I actually remember a story from her, something going home with her once.
Yeah, I did have. Now, see, I didn't pick up on this thing that was in the vehicle with me, but the woman that was with me was a psychic.
Yeah.
And we had done, this is probably 5-6 years ago, we had done a party in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was a psychic party where people would get a hold of us and say, hey, we want you to come to our house, and the psychic would come with me, and she would do 15-minute readings while I would entertain the crowd in another room. We would look at like paranormal photography. We would learn how to use ghost hunting equipment while everybody else was getting their readings. And there was probably 20 to 25 people at this party, and we'd finished up, and we were driving back to a McDonald's in northern Ohio there where the psychic had left her car.
Uh-huh.
And we pulled into the parking lot, and her name is Laura. Laura goes to hop out of my vehicle, and she looks behind me into my back seat. And she's shaking her head back and forth.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what's wrong? And she says, I think somebody followed us.
No way.
Well, like I'm a dummy. I turn and I look outside the vehicle thinking human, you know. And she's like, he's in our back seat. And I'm freaking out. I'm turning around like, what? And there's nobody there.
Now, Sherry, is there any chance that she was just messing with you?
No, she wasn't. Because she's not that type of person. And I said, what do you mean he's in our back seat? And she says, I felt as if something was with us the entire drive, and now I know he's in your back seat. I picked him up at the party. And I'm like, okay, what does he want?
She picked him up at the party like she
Hey,
asked,
come on, let's go mess with Ola. Sorry.
So, I'm like, okay,
Sherry,
you're pulling my leg. And she's like, no, he's in the back seat there. She goes, now listen, I want you to leave. And she's talking to nothing in my back seat. I want you to leave. You need to leave. You need to go back where you belong, and everything will be just fine. And she looks at me, and she's like, call me later. And she goes to shut the car door.
Yeah, and I'd be going, where in the hell do you think you're going?
I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm half laughing because I'm a skeptic.
Yeah.
And I look at the back seat, and I'm talking to thin air. And I said, why don't you go with Blondie? Because Laura's a blonde, right? And I'm my own sarcastic you-know-what.
Nice.
Yeah, and I pull out of McDonald's, and I'm driving down the road, and my cell phone goes off, and it's Laura's cell phone. And she's frantically yelling at me. She's like, he came with me. He's in my car now. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, all my lights in my vehicle are going on and off. And she says, I had to pull off to the side of the road. And she says, everything is flashing.
So what did she do? Was she like, hey, you have to get out and walk now, even though I put you in my car?
I said, don't be mad at me, but I kind of half-jokingly said, why don't you go with Blondie? And she's like, you didn't. She said, I told you somebody was in your back seat. And I'm like, but I didn't really believe you. So, anyway, she said, well, I'm going to sit here for a minute. She says, I'm going to do like a little quick cleansing of the car. I'm going to help him cross over if he needs to cross over, and I'll call you when I get home. So then she called me, and she said everything was just fine. She shut her car off. She talked to the gentleman that was there. She turned it back on, and everything was fine.
She's like, listen, get out and walk.
So I don't know. I know she's very trustworthy, and she is a wonderful psychic and a good friend. And
she's still talking with you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you sent her. You go with her.
Now what about malicious spirits?
Malicious spirits, I have never, ever, and I have been doing investigations going into my 27th year now. I have never had anything bad happen to me, knock on wood. I've never had anything bad happen to anybody when they come on the ghost hunts either. And I've had people say, oh, I had bad dreams the night after I was with you. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Now, I remember.
I didn't mean to frighten you, but I think that if you believe that you can be jinxed, or if you believe that somebody can give you the evil eye, or if you believe that something bad is going to happen to you, I think you kind of almost set yourself up. And I think maybe things might happen around you, but you own it up to that paranormal experience that you had. In other words, it's like a scapegoat.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, my car died. I lost my job this week. It must be because I went on a ghost hunt last week.
Yeah, I'd blame it on you.
So
he blames everything else on me, so you should join the party.
So no, I don't think anything negative or anything really bad can happen to you. I mean, sure, can you go into a bar down the street, a place that your parents told you never to go into, and you walk in there, and couldn't something follow you home from there?
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything,
Yeah, that's happened to me.
You can go to an antique shop or a museum or a hospital.
See, that's something that scared me. My landlord, he listens to the show pretty religiously. He brought me. He actually one of his parents had in a box a relic, like it's some kind of dish from the Queen Mary, and gave it to me. And I mean, it's labeled, it's really old, and everything like that. I'm like, man, what if something followed that little plate home? And it's like sitting in my kitchen.
Well, look at the stuff you get at flea markets or garage sales, or yard sales, or antique shops. I know some psychics that tell women never buy a piece of jewelry at an estate sale because it's bad. And I'm like, wow, what a terrible way to live your life.
They'll get possessed by an old lady.
Yeah, I don't think any of that's going to happen. That's Hollywood.
Or an effeminate male.
Now there's a couple other questions. The first one was from Jalsa Gray. They were wanting to know, have you ever gotten an EVP from a family member that's passed on?
Oh, that's a good question. Have I ever gotten an EVP from a family member? No, but I have heard their voices audibly. I remember one occasion where I was leaving my children for the first time, and my husband at the time, we were flying away on vacation. We were going to Puerto Rico and getting on a cruise ship, and we just got in the airplane up above the clouds, and I got all teary-eyed because I'm like, oh, I'm leaving my babies. We could die over the ocean, or, this could happen. And all of a sudden, I heard Grace, who had passed away, say, get a grip, Sherry Sue. And I turned around thinking, oh, my God, my aunt's behind me. I'm like, my aunt is dead. But it was, I wasn't thinking about her. Yeah. But it was her voice just as plain as day. And I think that happens to a lot of people. I think people hear voices of their loved ones and stuff, or they have the visitations during their sleep, the real vivid dreams where the spirits come to them. But no, I've never recorded an EVP that I thought to be a family member. Now, I think I have gotten more male voices with EVPs, and I don't know if that's because I spend most of my time in these prisons.
It could be. It's the people you're hanging out with, Sherry.
I guess so, but it seems to be
that
very.
Element.
I have to say, probably most of the EVPs that people have come to me with or have sent me to listen to,
now
for the most part, are male.
Going back to because the malicious spirit, that to me is surprising. That like you said, you spend most of your time in
prisons.
If it's not a prison, it's where they were insane.
Mm-hmm. How about that?
Yeah, I know. You're either where they're locked up because they're killing people, or they're locked up because they want to kill people, and the voices are telling them to kill people.
And you haven't got a malicious spirit.
Or you go to old farmhouses.
Right. Exactly.
Or battlefields where they're trying to kill each other.
Well, now I do have.
Or mine shops where they're fighting and killing over poker games.
I do have to share with you guys something that happened a couple months ago. I was contacted by a supervisor at a deep mine in West Virginia. And I was thinking about all this with the mining tragedy that just happened in Raleigh County with the miners that were killed in the explosion. I got contacted by this gentleman a couple of months ago. He called me on the phone and said, listen, he goes, I'm a God-fearing man, and I believe in God, and I'm calling you because I'm not sure what else to do. And I'm like, what's going on? He goes, well, I work in a deep mine. He goes, I'm down under the earth. We're down underground, maybe 1.5 to 2 miles underground.
Mm-hmm.
And he said probably 20 to 25 people that I work with and people in the last few years since I've been at this mining company have seen a black shadowy figure that runs very quickly in the mine. And he said, when you're down underground, sometimes your imagination can play tricks on you, but we're hearing voices now associated with this black shadowy thing, and it's also turning on and off the mine equipment.
That ain't good.
And I said, are you sure? And he goes, yeah. And he said, and he told me a few things that have happened. He said, it's like it's a black trash bag looking thing. It's a large trash bag, kind of like the, 50-gallon bag or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it has like arms and legs on it. He said, that's all there is. There's really no head to it per se, and it moves very quickly. And he goes, I know you probably think I'm crazy, but he says, I'm starting to get worried because I'm down there sometimes in the old part of the mine by myself. And I see this movement, and I'll turn and I'll look, and I'll see it run, and then something will happen to the equipment. It'll turn itself off or turn itself back on. And he says it's a safety issue. And he was wondering what to do. Well, we did a little bit of research on the mine and found out, of course, there's been miners that have died there in the past due to accidents.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's an unfinished job. I think that the miners are very superstitious to begin with.
Yeah. Now, do you think that maybe they're going to be there until the mine's, finished?
I don't know. I'm not sure. This mine has been operating since probably the 1930s or so.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people have become very skittish being down in that old section. And the gentleman even asked me, he says, is there a possibility that maybe I could get you down in there? And, of course, that breaks federal law and a bunch of other things that go along with it. But when it's to the point that it's a safety issue.
Yeah, tell them your media. Lola wants to go down.
But again, miners are very superstitious, and a woman's shadow is really not supposed to pass across the front of a coal mine. It's considered bad luck.
See, it is, but there are a growing number of female miners now.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan's going to actually.
Shut up, Nick.
I wasn't even doing it as a joke, but actually, I'm being serious. But Jordan actually just finished mining classes because he's trying to get a job as a miner.
Yeah.
Oh, great! Good for you.
No. I yelled at him when I walked into work tonight.
Well, you don't have to go underground.
Well, that's what he's thinking
do a
of
surface
doing.
mine.
Well, I mean, I'm on the surface now. I'm just trying to go underground because that's where all the money is, Sharon.
I know.
Isn't it awful? And yet, in the wake of yesterday's events, it's scary. And the first thing I thought of was, I've got a cousin that works underground, and Jordan.
Sherry, you're the only mama that I got that hasn't yelled at me yet.
It's coming.
Yep, give her time. Yep.
We had one more question. I know we're starting to run out of time here, but does anyone know what these shadow beings are? That's what NY Lily's asking.
Okay.
Really quick, I mean, can you sum up?
Well, people have been seeing shadowy forms for generations. I mean, it goes all the way back to, oh my gosh, ancient Europe, where people have documented seeing shadowy forms and whatnot. There's belief that possibly it could be another dimension, that this is an entity that comes from another dimension, and it's interdimensional. There are some people that believe that it's energy because it's dark. There's some people that believe it to be evil entities. There's an awful lot of theories out there on what a shadow person is. They call them shadow people, porch people, is another term that I've heard.
I don't think I've ever heard that one.
Porch people. That would be your deep Southern term for shadow people. They call them porch people. But they can be animal-sized. It
Really?
can be child-sized. It can be, adult-sized. Nobody really knows.
See, what gets me is because I have like black rimmed glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm like looking out like the corner of my eye, it'll look like something's running past me as I'm turning my head, but it's really my glasses. That's got me a lot, Sherry.
Well, you know what? I talked to an optometrist about this because most of the time when people see shadow people, it's out of the corner of their eye. And then when they turn and they look dead on, there's nothing there. And the optometrist told me that we have a wider spectrum of light that we're able to process in our peripheral vision. And when you turn your head to the side to look at the shadow person, it goes away because your dead-on vision is not as acute with that wide spectrum of color as your peripheral is. You follow me? So if you keep continually looking ahead, you're going to continue to see the shadow people out of the corner of your eye.
Really?
So nobody knows what it is.
So if I'm like stiff-necked and like looking straight ahead and I see something and I kind of like turn like a robot, will I be able to see them then? Like,
no,
is that...
no. As soon as you look dead on, you're gonna lose it.
I'm an idiot. That's how my brain took that. I'm sorry.
It's fascinating. That's okay. It's fascinating though. I think shadow people, for the most part, they get a bum rap because they're dark. Anytime you see something that's dark, you automatically associate it with being evil or negative. So I don't think it's anything bad. I just think it's something that we haven't quite been able to distinguish it, to figure out exactly what it is. Now,
Sherry, we are out of time. I want to thank you very much for your time today. We really want you to come out on the 30th.
I would love to, and I'll talk to you guys about that here in a little bit, and I'll firm it up on the calendar.
And when you do that, Lola is going to stick to your side like glue.
You'll have a new best friend.
I have a new toy too. It's a ghost box.
Wait, hold on. Before we get it, is that the thing that makes noises and talks?
It's not a type of a random word generator or voice generator or anything
okay,
because
somebody had that last year, and I think Lola had a machete or something.
Yeah.
She was about to attack those people.
Well, because instead of using headphones like normal people would do, they had it blaring through the whole
It was like
prison.
right,
at the crossroads.
Yeah, right at the crossroads, so you could hear it at both in both cell blocks, just like meh, meh, meh,
that's not good.
And Lola's like, I'm gonna kill him.
I know.
No. This is much more subtle than that.
Okay.
I promise.
I'm excited.
Oh, she's giddy like a little schoolgirl. You got her. Sherry, we got y'all linked up to our website like always, and we happy Easter.
If you click on your picture, by the way.
Thank you.
So.
Okay, you guys come down here and see me sometime.
It's Haunted Heartland Tours at hauntedhistory.net.
You got it.
All right. Go check her out. Sherry, thank you very much for
joining
joining
us.
us.
See you soon.
Thank
See you, Sherry.
Sherry.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And joining us now, hold on. Man, I don't know what's wrong with me. Joining us now, Ashley Mullins from West Liberty. What color are you on? She's on blue.
Blue.
Yeah,
Blue.
Nick grabbed the wrong mic.
I have the one right in front of me. Good Lord.
She's from West Liberty. She's one of the people heading up the counter protest for the Westboro Baptist Church protest that's coming this Saturday. So, Ashley, you got anything you want to tell us?
Oh, well, I just came from a meeting with the everyone in the city. They're gonna do a kind of like a fundraiser for the coal miners.
That's a good idea.
So
I
just want to encourage everyone to go down to Wheeling Park. It's gonna be from 4 until 7 on Saturday, and you can just hopefully you can donate something to the coal miners. And obviously, the Westboro Baptist Church hates the coal miner. Well,
they hate everybody.
They say they don't hate them. So,
who do they not hate?
They don't hate them, but God hates them, and so does everyone. Yeah.
Yes. So, So they're we're taking up a collection for them because they're actually going down Thursday to protest.
Oh, it is Thursday?
Yeah. So,
okay, I thought it was Friday, but
so
it may be
if they make it back.
Yeah, I don't know. So I just
remember deliverance.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's places in southern West Virginia I wouldn't want to go, and
I wouldn't want to go, let alone protest. Their men dying.
It's not a smart idea.
Like they can get away with stuff like that up northern West Virginia. Southern West Virginia, it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, I know. Like a friend of my dad's, we were talking about it this weekend, and he said if they ever came to protest my son's funeral, they would need a funeral themselves because he would be angry.
Oh, yeah.
I just couldn't. I can't understand it, but.
But okay, so go out to Wheeling Park 4 to 7.
4 to 7 if you want to donate.
And you're giving money to the miners.
The miners, yes. There's going to be tons of stuff going on. There's going to be bands all day. We're going to have, you can bring your own pack your own lunch, come down and listen to the bands. I know at the end of the service, we're all gonna hold hands around the lake. So it's gonna be great, just to see the community come out and support love instead of hate, and just kind of protest that. And I think that's the biggest thing is, we can't let them bring hate into our city. It's horrible. It's not good.
No hate in a friendly city.
That's right.
Now, is anything going on at Jesuit?
Yeah, they're gonna protest at Jesuit. I know a few of the people are gonna go down and protest with them from West Lib, but not everyone wants to go down. So a few of us are going to stay back and hang out at the rally.
So the main group's going to be at the rally at Wheeling Park from 4 to 7, and then some people are going to be going to Jesuit for the rally.
Where exactly are the Westboro people protesting?
They're from.
Oh, I know where they're from. But
what are they protesting?
Where are they? Where are they going, and why? Why are they coming?
Okay, well, they're going to. First, they're going to start at St. Mike's. Then they're going to St. Alphonsus, and then they're going to St. Joe's, and then they're going to Wheeling Jesuit. Yeah. They're protesting the Catholic Church.
Okay, and why did they pick Wheeling? Do they have a reason?
Because there's some priests in Ireland that they're.
Okay,
that's
a wacky idea. Okay, why
they
think we're a target, is what it is.
Well, they protested everywhere, but they're protesting in West Virginia, I think.
Charleston
and Wheeling. And I think they may be stopping a few other. Now they're going to be.
Well, yeah, they're going to be down at or where the miners are,
County.
And I know they said they were trying to get a place in Huntington to do it too.
Yeah. So.
Are they trying like all 50 state Catholic anti-Catholic tour? I mean,
well, they're doing the miners. They're wanting to.
I know that.
In Huntington, they're wanting to talk about the plane crash from the 70s.
Yeah.
And say that.
They
whatever the reason is for that, and then the Catholic Church in Charleston and.
Well, they're also going to synagogues in Charleston.
Are they too?
Yeah, they hate everybody. I mean, there isn't one group that's safe. In fact, they call themselves a Baptist church, but they don't like Baptists either.
Yeah, and when you ask them, you guys are Christian, yet you hate everyone, they say we don't hate everyone, we love you because, and that is why we spread this message. Is because we're
trying to save you.
Well, they say they aren't saving them because only the chosen can be protected. And
the only chosen people are the people that go to their church.
But I don't know. It's so confusing. I've been doing so much research, and I just don't understand them at all. But.
John has had them on. He's had Phelps on. He's had Shirley on because John has a way of like lulling them into this false sense of security, and then he somehow ends up biting them in the butt. John can't do it. I listened to 2 minutes of their rhetoric, and I am ready to,
choke
them
at
the mouth.
So much patience with them.
Yeah.
So much patience.
And there's no talking. You can't talk to them. There's no dialogue possible. It's them talking at you and spewing hate, and then they take Bible passages and they twist them and turn them into something that isn't even remotely connected to what the original message was. They're sick people.
Have you ever watched?
And they're all interrelated too. Yeah. It's all family.
Yeah, and they are all lawyers.
Yes,
they're all lawyers. So they will take what you say against them and take you to court for it. They will take you to court for it.
Look at the example just last week of the father that sued them because they protested at his son's funeral, and it was overturned in the appellate court. And to add insult to injury, they slapped him with a $16,000 reimbursement charge for their legal expenses. So he's taking it to the Supreme Court, and I just, pray that those people, those 9 justices, will do what's right.
I read somewhere that Bill O'Reilly said that he would pay that cost.
Yeah, he said he'd pay it, but that nothing has to be paid until it's completely worked its way through the court system.
But it's a shame. It's a shame that stay out of the friendly city. We don't want you here.
I am speechless when it comes to those people. I really am. I can't even because I know what wants to come out, and I know I can't say it on the air. So,
have any of you watched the Most Dangerous Family in America, the documentary?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Have you ever watched that?
Is it the most hated?
Yeah.
I thought it was the most dangerous.
It's the most hated family. It's the
BBC.
the BBC guy went in there and lived with them for 2 weeks.
these people with the Westboro Baptist?
Yeah, he went and lived with them for 2 weeks, and he's just like, "What are you doing?" Like, they'd go to protest, and they're like, "I'm staying back here. I'm not a part of this," you know.
When John and Todd and everybody went to Denver for that playoff game, they made sure, Todd, they found the church.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's got a huge fence all around it. You can't get near it. So there's a picture of all the guys mooning it. But that was Todd's way of getting back at them.
Nice.
A 60-some-year-old butt. You know?
That's the most hated.
Lily says if they ever came to New York, they'd get their butts kicked.
But see, that's the scary thing.
Yeah.
Everybody, at least now, everybody knows you can't touch them.
Right.
You know, the minute anything violent happens to them or around them, you're going to go to jail.
Right.
Somehow they come out as being the victims, and that's what's so despicable about it, is the way they just kept turned the law upside down and are using the First Amendment right to such evil proportions. It's unbelievable to me that in this country we can't find some way to get them on a hate crime.
And I think that's why the rally at Wheeling Park is so great, because we are counter-protesting them, and we're not even giving them the response that they want.
That's it.
You know, they want that response. They want that response to sue, and that's not what we'll welcome them into the city, but we will not. We don't want their message of hate. That's the only thing they can come to their city, but do not spread that message of hate in our city. That's not what we want. So.
And for those of you that are practicing Catholics, you know, maybe go to Mass on Sunday instead of Saturday, and instead go to the park and you know, do your love there.
Well, I guess that's what priests were telling everybody was, you know, don't go to Mass on Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, hold off, go on Sunday. Maybe a little inconvenient, but hey.
It's 1 week. Yeah. You know, get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole city's going to be there. It's going to be so unified, and it's just going to be a great day. It's going to be awesome. It's supposed to be wonderful weather. I mean, I'm really excited about it, and I'm glad to see that our city can come together for a message of love. It's great.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Because you don't always see that every day here.
No, you don't.
You know?
But there's always the one defining event that will bring people together.
That's
and I think,
right.
Man, I don't know what
is wrong with you.
I don't know. Woo!
You need to get home. Lost is on.
That's right. Everybody go watch Lost.
Listen to what I found.
We got a phone call.
Listen to what I
wonder what it's going to be. Stay away from them. Oh.
I can't wait.
If you haven't listened, they're very obsessed with Lost, the TV show.
You know, I think it's good if anybody wants to be a part of this. Go out to Wheeling Park. You're looking for a certain age group? Anybody? Everybody?
Everybody. If you are just opposed to the hate that's coming to our city,
dress in white robes. What's the?
We want everyone to dress in white just to show peace and love and all the good stuff that comes with it.
Now, how many people are you guys expecting?
Well, from West Lib, I'm heading up the West Lib group, and we say anywhere between 100 to about 150. So, but from the city, we say about 400.
Awesome. Go out there. That's this Saturday, 4 to 7, Wheeling Park. Ashley Mullins, thank you very much for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
This week, coming up, Nikki, who we got?
Tina Fiorda. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, Tina and her sister Tilly.
You're the one that's the most excited about this.
Oh, I love this.
Go ahead.
They wrote a book, and it's great. They wrote a book. All the words are from the Ouija board. Their book is called The Book of Insight. Everything came from the Ouija board, and I just think this is going to be great. It's going to be interesting. I love it.
All of a sudden, I have vision.
I tried to do a visual for Nick on how we could do that, but he wasn't having it.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Until next week, we love you, and we'll talk to you later. Don't be afraid, only believe.